Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Triple Double Nation. Today we're looking at what Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers must do to make the finals this offseason. Let's get right into the video. The 2020 and 2021 NBA season came to a screeching halt for the Philadelphia 76ers after losing in Game 7 versus the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Even with Trae Young struggling from the field, it was Kevin Huerter who would send the 76ers packing with his 27 points, making him the second leading scorer in the game, only behind Joel Embiid. Following Philadelphia's heart-wrenching defeat, Daryl Morey and the front offices have some pivotal decisions to make in the offseason. It all begins with what the team should do with Ben Simmons moving forward. Morey and Doc Rivers advocated for Simmons and Embiid prior to the season, uttering that the duo has what it takes to win a title together. Rivers was singing a different tune though after losing to the Hawks, as he was straightforward with Simmons' future with the team. When asked about whether or not Simmons can be a point guard on a championship team, Rivers proceeded to say, "I don't know the answer to that. That's all we needed to hear to know what could be in store for Simmons in the upcoming months." While the Hawks and the Milwaukee Bucks battle it out in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Philadelphia 76ers will be busy taking a look at their roster and what changes need to be made. They will also be compiling a list of free agents or trade targets that could make them forget about this season's disappointing collapse as quickly as possible. As Philadelphia prepares for what is expected to be a busy couple of months, there are certain moves that need to be made for them to be contenders again in 2021 and 22. Trade Ben Simmons. There was once a time where I believed that the duo of Embiid and Simmons could actually compete for a championship on the same team. Joel Embiid was a modern big and Simmons was a point forward that could contribute with his cerebral passing and stout defense. However, while Embiid has evolved into one of the league's premier players, Simmons has refused to develop his game, primarily in the shooting department. Simmons rarely looks for his shot and he's incapable of shooting consistently outside the paint. Throughout all the fourth quarters in the series against the Hawks, Simmons attempted just 3 shots. The former first-round pick out of LSU is also a liability at the free throw line, where he made only 15 of his 45 free throw attempts versus Atlanta. In all likeliness, Morey and the Philadelphia 76ers saw enough during the postseason to realize that Simmons needs to be traded this offseason. Moving Simmons won't be easy, as a two-way forward is owed $146.5 million over the course of the next 4 seasons. Also, there are many teams in the NBA who believe Simmons is worth trading another star for, or that they can help him develop further. With the 76ers needing to make alterations to the roster, it should begin with a trade involving Simmons, who re-signed Danny Green in the NBA free agency. In the 7th game series versus the Hawks, the Philadelphia 76ers lost Danny Green early in Game 3 due to a calf injury. The veteran shooting guard would miss the rest of the series, and his presence was missed by Philadelphia. Besides Green's ability to stretch the floor and knock down threes, he's a formidable defender on the other end of the court. Amid Green's absence in the series, Seth Curry did step up in a big way, but the team was forced to rely on Furkan Korkmaz, Shake Milton, and rookie Tyrese Maxey. Green is an impending free agent this offseason, and after seeing how they perform without him, the 76ers would be wise to re-sign him. Entering the offseason, Philadelphia is projected to be slightly under $3 million on the luxury tax. But if the team were to retain Green, it would put them right back in the luxury tax. That being said, there are roster moves they could make that would allow them to maneuver their cap space, including a trade centered around Simmons. It remains to be seen what type of interest Green drums up on the open market, but with Green's skill set and experience, there are contenders who could look to lure him away from Philadelphia. Unless the 76ers were able to land a superstar via trade this summer that could replace the production of Green, then bringing back the veteran wing would be a smart decision for the franchise. Give Joel Embiid the Supermax extension. Whenever a team finds a cornerstone superstar player, they need to do everything in their power to keep him with the organization. Even with another heartbreaking end to the season, the Philadelphia 76ers need to ensure that Embiid doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. While Embiid's current contract isn't expired, the talented big man is eligible to receive the Supermax extension this offseason. Due to making the All-NBA second team, Embiid is eligible for an extension that is in the ballpark of $190.6 million over 4 years. Embiid has 2 years remaining on his current deal, but an extension would keep him with the franchise to the 2026 and 27 season. With Embiid preparing to enter his prime, the 76ers need to do everything they can to make sure Embiid is content with the team situation. In his 5th played season, Embiid was able to record a career-high 28.5 points per game, along with 10.6 rebounds and 1.4 blocks per game in 2020 and 2021. The 4-time All-Star also set career-high marks in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage. Seeing that Joel Embiid is a special player at the center position, it would be a win-win for both sides to agree to an extension in the offseason. Surround Joel Embiid with even more perimeter shooting. In today's NBA, it is required to have reliable shooters on the floor that can make opportunistic threes. Teams around the league have surrounded their franchise players with shooting, with most of these teams having success. While the Philadelphia 76ers did add more shooting last offseason, they need to continue inserting more shooters to their roster this offseason. Re-signing Green would be a start for Philadelphia, but moving on from Simmons could allow the team to get a shooter in return. Maybe the 76ers would be able to land a package like CJ McCollum and Robert Covington for Simmons. Getting a 3-level scorer like McCollum and floor spacing forward like Covington would work wonders for Philadelphia's offense around Joel Embiid. Once the 76ers move on from Ben Simmons, it will be important to find a point guard that doesn't clog the lane. There are going to be veterans or under-the-radar players available this offseason that Philadelphia can sign to bolster their shooting. Regardless of how they get it done, the 76ers desperately need to continue acquiring more shooting if they hope to compete for a title moving forward. Trade for Damian Lillard. One of Murray's signature big swings becomes even more possible if a superstar demands a trade. Right now, it would appear Damian Lillard is approaching a trade request. While nothing is formal as of now, pushback to the Blazers' head coaching search in conjunction with Portland's inability to build a contender seems to be testing Lillard's loyalty. There's a lot of smoke and it smells like a fire. The winds of change are blowing, and Damian Lillard might ask out of Portland. The Sixers could make a strong push. Last season, the 30-year-old Lillard averaged 28.8 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 7.5 assists on 45.1% from the field and 39.1% from deep. He has three-point range out to the logo and is one of the most confident closers in recent NBA history, a stark departure from Ben Simmons, who refused to touch a basketball for 3 straight fourth quarters. He also has 4 years remaining on his contract. Of course, if Lillard does eventually ask out, the Sixers should jump at the opportunity. While fans were split on James Harden early last season, no one is split on Lillard. Ben Simmons has lost the faith of the fan base completely, and it's hard to fathom a better superstar fit next to Joel Embiid. You can bet Murray will push all his chips in if Lillard does eventually reach the point of no return in Portland. So in answer to the initially posed question, yes, the Sixers have what it takes on paper. Does that mean Lillard is a lock for Philadelphia if a trade demand occurs? No, it does not. Lillard would most certainly exert some level of control over his eventual destination, like James Harden and Anthony Davis before him. We would likely get a list of preferred landing spots. That list may or may not include Philadelphia, and that is step 1. Lillard has to want to play with Joel Embiid. Assuming Lillard does not reject the notion of Philadelphia entirely, then Murray should go all in. He's under contract for at least 3 years with a 4th-year player option with $48 million. That is hard to turn down. The Sixers would have Lillard and Embiid all but locked in for the duration of their remaining prime years. This is a fascinating proposition based on a number of factors. The pool of suitors should Lillard ask out is sure to be vast, even more vast than the pool of suitors for James Harden and Anthony Davis, both of whom had shorter contracts and greater concerns tied to age/injury. Take, for example, the Boston Celtics. Boston would have liked James Harden, but Jaylen Brown was never on the table. Would Brown be on the table in a Portland deal? If so, it's hard to imagine a package built around Ben Simmons would trump a package built around Brown, given what just unfolded in the playoffs. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, rating down below, and comment if the 76ers are winning it all next year. See you guys next time. Have a great day.